Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is October 25th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see the low pressure system kind of centered right over western Oregon. Look at all the lightning strikes going on during the day today. Coastal Range, Willamette Valley, Cascades. Snow continues across the higher terrain, and you could even get thunder snow here with one of the heavier showers as we go on in through tonight. That snow should be continuing through tonight for some of the southern Oregon Cascades also, and eventually ending from north to south. We'll take a look at the weather models for that. Another round of snow coming for some of the higher terrain of Idaho and Montana on in through tomorrow also. Then we'll take a look at the extended forecast. We got an interesting pattern shift likely coming up here as we go through the early portion of November. Storm track looks to point at the Pacific Northwest again, and some interesting systems. I'll take a look at the weather models here and explain it to you when we get there through the video here this afternoon. Taking a look at Western Washington, this blue is frost advisory. Really every place except for kind of the Seattle metro there. And even so, it's going to be pretty chilly over the next few nights. So you might want to watch your sensitive plants out there and be prepared for some slick spots out there. Also, these winter storm warnings will be expiring anytime now. I think within the next 20 minutes or so, maybe still warranted for the southern Washington Cascades. This is down towards Portland. You can see winter weather advisories still warranted here across the Cascades as we go through this evening and tonight. You got some freeze warnings for portions east. Same thing here. You can see eastern Washington, eastern Oregon. This is Spokane, something similar there as well. And kind of wrapping up some of the snowfall here across a lot of Washington state. But another round coming for portions of Idaho and Montana on in through tomorrow. I'll take a look at that in the weather models here in a moment. But looking at the CoCoRaHS, check out some of these precipitation amounts here. Look at Southeast Vancouver Island, up over 2 inches. A lot of these orange dots, some places over 3. All these yellow dots are over an inch. Looks like some of the San Juans might have got up towards 2 inches of precip. Ocean Shores, 2 inches. And check it out. Some nice totals across western Washington, all the way up and down the Oregon Coastal Range, Willamette Valley as well. And of course, the snow totals across the higher terrain. We'll probably check those snow totals tomorrow at some point here. They haven't come in yet. I checked. They're not in just yet. But this is looking at composite reflectivity. This is the the 21Z run. It runs every single hour, and you can kind of see these showers still moving across the Cascades of Oregon. That moisture still streaming in there, but you can see this quickly cutting off as we go through tonight and tomorrow morning. But again, bringing another shot of some light snow, maybe some moderate snow the further you go off the south and east across Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah here through tomorrow morning here. But then we're going to put an end to that precipitation across much of the Pacific Northwest. This is looking at apparent temperature on the NAM 3KM, the 18Z run, the latest. And if we put that into motion here, and so this takes into account wind chill temperature. So look at some of these overnight lows coming in here. Very chilly conditions out there across the Cascades east especially. And, look at Seattle, the wind chill down into the lower 30s there also. So you're going to feel it. And look at across the Rockies and the higher terrain, the Bitterroots of Idaho, some very chilly temperatures rolling in here. Now we'll go on into Friday morning here, and you'll see again, very chilly temperatures, a little bit of another kick of Arctic air rolling in Friday morning. Also, we'll take a look at that in a little more detail here in a moment. But as we go through Saturday morning, again, nice and chilly across much of the west as the Arctic air settles down all the way across into some of California and Nevada as well. This is 700 millibars. So this is that polar lobe that got us there. About 10,000 feet in the atmosphere is what we're looking at now. And you can see this pivot across the region here. And you can see that little subtle tick up there of dropping the temperatures aloft again with another shot of Arctic air associated with the same polar lobe, but it doesn't have the same overwater trajectory. So maybe just a few showers across the Washington, Oregon Cascades with that, maybe across some of the higher terrain of eastern Washington, Idaho, but not like the initial snowmaker we had. And again, putting that into motion one more time, you can see that pivot there across the Intermountain West, and again, clip the Pacific Northwest with that secondary lobe. Now, taking a look at 80 meter wind speed on the NAM 3KM. As we go through the day today, see the Fraser River winds kind of relax this afternoon and evening. Get some north flow down the Puget Sound. I was looking at the Puget Sound a little bit ago, and you could see the nice choppy water out there. The north wind just kind of flowing down. You can see the north wind coming across eastern Washington, kind of bringing that modified Arctic air into the Pacific Northwest. And then as we go through Friday morning, watch it kick up a bit here again across the Fraser River outflow there and all the way off the continent there as we get a little bit of a reinforcing shot of some Arctic air, but mainly a dry intrusion with that one. And you can kind of see the north wind spread all the way down across Oregon into Northern California and Nevada here. The Okanagan River Gap getting a little burst of wind here as they go through Friday evening also. Now, looking at total snow accumulation in inches from this point on, this is the HUR. You can see maybe a few inches across some of the higher terrain of southern Washington Cascades here, and you see a few more inches here and some ongoing snowfall through tonight into very early tomorrow morning for the Oregon Cascades. And also, if I back this up, you can see the snow picking up across southeast Oregon and southern Idaho, higher terrain there as well as we go through tomorrow morning. Now, taking a look here. This is the European on the left versus the GFS on the right. We're going to check out the pattern change, and we're going to take a brief look at where we are now. So this is that trough that dug out over Washington State here. There's Alaska. Japan is to the far left here. Check out that trough on both the GFS and the European. Of course, it's going to be good agreement with the short-term model here. But if I put this into motion, you're going to see that secondary little lobe clipping us just a little bit Friday morning. Ridge kind of hangs on for a bit here, even redevelops a little bit. But look at the jet extend across the Pacific Ocean here. And then we start to bring some interesting systems on both the European and the GFS, bring that stronger jet here across the Eastern Pacific Ocean and could bring some interesting systems into our area. So that's the next pattern change we are watching. Looking at the European ensemble mean, check out the ensemble to see if we have much agreement. You can kind of see the ridge that allowed that north flow and Arctic air to come in on us. And then we look out in the extended forecast, and also you see that it jet all the way across Pacific Ocean and point itself at the Pacific Northwest. So yes, we do have ensemble model agreement here. So we have a little bit of confidence in this pattern change upcoming here as we go on into probably all the way in towards the end of next week is what we're watching right now. Now, looking at the North American view of things here, you can see Alaska, BC, Washington, Oregon there. There goes our upper level system here, our polar lobe that just reached out and got us here. And we're going to feel that here over the next few days with some overnight chilly lows. Ridge continues to steer that north flow as we go through the weekend. And then as we go on into next week, the ridge finally starts to relax a bit here and the westerlies start to try to break down and get back in here. And you can see both the GFS on the right and the European on the left with the Gulf of Alaska troughing, strong jet stream, starting to bring some systems back into the Pacific Northwest. But we have to still use caution at this far out here. You're looking at 7, 8, 9, 10 days out at that point. Looking at the Seattle Metro, I wanted to point this out as well. This is the blue line here where our average temperatures are this time of year. And look at the expected lows over the next few days. Saturday, Sunday might be down around freezing for the Seattle Metro area there. And the red line here is the average high temperatures this time of year. So yeah, you can see just how chilly this air mass is for this time of year. And eventually, as we go through early November, we could possibly start to be warming back up here, which would mean the return of those westerlies and maybe some wet storms rolling back in. Spokane Metro, something similar there. Look at some of these daily highs well below normal. In some cases, 15 plus degrees there. And you can see well below freezing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight days there, all the way on into early next week. So heads up there. If you got sensitive plants out there, some crops still going on or some livestock that you need to tend to out there. Some chilly temperatures definitely incoming there east of the Cascade Range there. Now looking at Portland, Oregon, check it out. You can again see maybe down towards freezing there. I don't see any temperatures below it right now, but some of the outlying areas and further down through the Willamette Valley could be getting some below freezing temperatures. This is Bend, Oregon. Again, spending several days below freezing here in the overnight hours. Of course, you're not going to be below freezing during the daytime. The sun is still fairly or relatively strong, I should say, at this time of the year. And then you can see the potential warm up as we go on into the early portion of November. Something similar here with Lewiston, Idaho, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 days below freezing. As you can see here, getting into the upper 20s and some chilly daytime highs there also. This is Boise. Check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 days below freezing here on the overnight lows. So, yeah, you might be getting some frozen ground out there for a bit. And so watch out for your sensitive plants and maybe any pets that are outdoors. This is also another way to look at it. 2 meter temperature anomaly here on the European. This morning's 12Z run. And you can clearly see, look at Montana as we go through these next few days. Some places getting 30 degrees below what we normally are at this time of year. And you can see the chilly temperatures across the Cascades into BC, the Olympic Mountains, Western Washington, Oregon, as this very cold air mass settles down across much of the West. So yeah, pretty interesting early season Arctic hijinks here across a lot of the region. Yeah, and the early season snowfall, we will take it across the higher terrain as well. Now, looking at the 6 to 10 day, though, look at this. We start to go back to those above average potentials here as we go through Halloween through November 4th coming up. So, yeah, that would be the return of some westerlies and maybe some wetter, warmer systems. 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, the return of the precipitation shown there. And this is the 8 to 14 days. So, yeah, we might be getting some southwest flow back into the region here in the early portion of November. This goes through November 8th. And again, with the precipitation probabilities above average in that time frame. So anyway, yeah, that was an interesting storm still ongoing across Oregon right now. And we're going to feel this in the overnight lows out there. So yeah, heads up for that. I don't know if that it's cold enough here across Western Washington, Oregon to have to worry about pipes freezing or anything like that. But who knows? If you're in some of the outlying areas and some of the higher foothills or whatnot, you might want to tend to that as well. But anyway, yeah, it'll be fun to watch this pattern change coming up here. We'll watch this day by day. I did go out. I went across the I-90 today. There's a lot of snow up towards Snoqualmie Pass, not right at the pass area, but some of the higher terrain right around it. And a nice snow line had formed there. Driving up I-90, it was nice to view that. I went over Blewett Pass, quite a bit of snow up there. And Stevens Pass was the winner, though. Had quite a bit also, probably over a foot, especially just around the pass itself. The plows were out and they did a great job keeping things clear out there. But I got some nice scenery pictures out there as I went all the way around I-90, Highway 97, Highway 2, and back through Seattle and back down to my house here. But anyway, yeah, so maybe I'll do a video on that here coming up. Otherwise, I will just do my normal briefing tomorrow. We'll check everything out, including the extended forecast, and I will talk to you guys then.